Jailbreak is almost 7 years old now, and the game has gotten tons of new features and additions in the meantime. So today I've decided that we're going to go over some of the more useless things that have been added to the game during those 7 years, and you guys can determine if these were actually good additions down in the comments. So let's not waste any more time and let's get into this. So coming in first place here we got boats. Boats were first introduced into the game back in 2019 with the power plant robbery update. I believe it was right after the map expansion. And the only boat we got in that update was the jet ski. No other boat, only the jet ski. And then about a year later, we had the 2020 Nuke live event that added in 2 more boats, the sloop and the cruiser. Cruiser costed about $35,000, while the sloop costed a whole $1 million just to gain access to. But pretty much ever since that update, almost 4 years ago now, pretty much nobody has been seen using boats in public servers. Me myself, I really only use the boats to mess around every now and again, because otherwise they're just really buggy and broken. Really the only boat that works as intended is the jet ski, and pretty much all the other boats immediately sink to the ground and just don't work as intended, and they're just really broken overall. Not only are boats just completely broken most of the time, but I also just can't imagine a scenario where a boat will actually be useful to use. But yeah, those are boats. Honestly, I don't think even a revamp could make these helpful. It's just one of those things that isn't meant for Jailbreak. They're just never really going to be helpful. I think the main reason for boats being useless is because you could just drive your car into the water anyways, and there's just not really anything to do out there. Like, why would you spend your time trying to get a boat when you could literally just drive your car straight into the ocean perfectly fine, you know? It doesn't make sense to me. Either they remove cars going in water, or they add more features to the oceans that require you having a boat, because right now they're just completely useless. Now this next one is kind of a small one. It's mainly just one singular building in the entire game, and it is the lighthouse. I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. It kind of ties into the first one here, because why is there a need for a lighthouse when nobody uses boats? It's kind of just one of those things that are sitting in the corner of the map, not doing anything, just making the game more laggy for our computers, you know? The game, I can guarantee, won't be any different without it. You won't even notice it. I bet if they remove it in the next update, I bet 90% of the player base will not even notice it's gone. The only time those people will notice it's gone is when they try going there because there's some stupid thing they want to do there. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. It's completely useless, and it's literally just making the game more laggy. Honestly, I want it removed, and it's really useless. Coming up next though in my list, we got the maximum security prison, which was actually just recently revamped. There's one main issue that puts the maximum security prison on my list here, and it's because it's really easy to escape from. Not only is the obstacle course in there extremely easy to do, but you could literally just intentionally die in the lasers to literally respawn straight out of there. It's not a maximum security prison if it's this easy to escape from. It's meant to be a huge challenge for all players, and it's meant to be difficult. And then having it this easy just makes it really disappointing, and honestly I was really just not happy with it when it got revamped, seeing that it's still incredibly easy to escape from. And it's a simple fix, just put in a few more lasers, some more obstacles, and then make it so that dying puts you straight back in there so that you can't escape it that easily. This glitch has been around since 2019, and honestly it's really annoying that it still hasn't been fixed. Now this next one is another small one, but it's something that really annoys me and a bunch of other people, mainly because no one mentions it. As most of you guys know, in the Nuke event back in 2020, the whole city got revamped, and in that city revamp there was an under construction building with a crane next to it. A year later, in 2021, this building turned out to be the police HQ, and even when the building was done, the crane still sat there. And then for almost 2 years, the crane sat there even longer, and then just recently the police HQ blew up and the crane still sat there, and even after the police HQ was removed and replaced with a completely different building, the crane still sits there. Mate, that building was done being built like 3 years ago now. Why isn't the crane gone? I know it looks good, but you know, the building's been done for 3 years. If you want to reuse the asset, maybe demolish another building and then put the crane there to make it look like that building's under construction again, because that would make more sense. But right now, the crane's literally just sitting there, and it doesn't make any sense. Obviously, it's a really cool thing to have in the city, and I agree with that, but it makes literally no sense. And It's not even that helpful at all. It's really useless. And just like the lighthouse, this is something that's literally just there making the game more laggy, and even if it was removed, literally nobody would notice for at least 2 weeks until they try going there again. And even if they do end up going there, what are they gonna do? Whine about it for a second, then move on? Exactly. There's no point. It doesn't do anything. It just sits there making the games laggier for our computers. Maybe if Padima wants more details like that in the map, they shouldn't have done another map expansion, because more map expansions means everything needs to be more spread out so that the game isn't as laggy. Even streaming enabled doesn't help. In fact, it probably makes the game even more laggy because you're constantly loading in all these assets. Honestly, I have no idea, but this crane just doesn't make sense, and it's annoying me a lot. I want it gone. Finally, in last place here, we got the good old flashlight and binoculars, the most forgotten items in the game. First of all, the flashlight. Night times, they aren't even dark enough for the flashlight. It's completely useless, it's pointless, it doesn't help you at all in normal gameplay or literally anything else at all. It's also extremely outdated, it's extremely ugly, and overall, it doesn't make sense at all for a game that doesn't even have dark night times. Anyways, the binoculars, well, this was a good idea back in the day before we had snipers, but now snipers are much more useful than the binoculars. Why would you carry around binoculars when you could carry around a sniper that also works as a gun, but also zooms farther than the binoculars can? Not to mention, but the binoculars are completely broken as well, and they have been since they came out almost 6 years ago now. And that's not even the worst part. The worst part is that they still cost money. It doesn't make sense to me, man. The flashlight made sense back in the day because the night times were actually dark and you couldn't really see, and it made stuff brighter, but nowadays the night times are really bright and you can see literally everything. And the binoculars don't make any sense because, first of all, they're broken and you can't even use them properly, and the sniper zooms even farther than the binoculars can see. I don't see anyone using these items, and honestly, they're just completely useless. They don't make any sense at all with the current state of the game, and overall, they're just completely useless items. Maybe if night times were darker and flashlights actually had a use, then I would use them. And maybe if the binoculars were actually functional and zoomed in farther, then I would use them, but currently, they're just useless. They are items that are sitting in the corner of the menu waiting for you to equip them, but you're never going to equip them because what's the point? It doesn't help you. Why equip them, you know? The only time I see someone using these items is when they're making fun of them. You know? That's how bad they are. That's how broken they are, man. You know it's bad when people literally only equip the item to make fun of it, man. Damn! You guys get the point, though. It's completely useless, doesn't help you at all, and overall, it's a really, really dumb idea for the current state of the game. The binoculars were never helpful because they were always broken, and the flashlight was only helpful for the first 6 months it was in the game, and then after that, the night times were always bright, so it was really never useful other than those first 6 months. Absolutely stupid. Anyways, those are the top 5 most useless things in the entirety of Roblox Jailbreak that I've decided to put on this list. If you guys want me to do a part 2 to this video, make sure to let me know down below in the comments, and I will do that. But yeah, anyways, for now, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.